Hello and welcome to Banya Chat. My name is Thomas Barnes, and today we're going to be discussing and taking a look at International Children's Day. I have with me Heavens and Recivo, and welcome to both of you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's lovely to have you here. So, International Children's Day, a little bit of information about it. International Children's Day is where we look at is a celebration and a spotlight on the protecting, looking out for, promoting and advocating for children's rights. Children's rights such as their right to an education, their right to safety, the right to a family, the right to protection, all of these rights. And as someone who grew up in foster care, I can safely say that these rights were looked at. And as someone who had to go into foster care, I can say that I went into foster care to protect my rights, to protect for my right to protection, for my right to education. These are this is what was protected and cared for when I came into care. And I want to look and promote this and promote and be an advocate for children's rights. And I think at Banya, this is also what we strive to do, is to advocate, protect and care about children's rights. Would you agree, Recivo and Heavens?
Yeah, certainly. It is about that, because when you look at it, fundamentally, I think you are a testimony to that. As you said, you were in care or in foster care, in foster family rather, with the Banya foster parent or foster family. And as you rightly say that you came into care to protect you from the exposure to to violence, to abuse, and everything else. That is one of your rights, that children must be protected from such things. And you were then brought in one of the rights that's that's there. If you look at the description given, it says, or the explanation given, these rights include the right to be raised or to have a relationship with your parents or with your family. But in this case, you were then removed from your family. Why? To protect you from violence and abuse and neglect, and also to actually for you to be in a very safe and conducive environment, so that you could also have access to education and be able to fulfill your potential. And that's what we also see in this case. So yeah, indeed, Banya's fundamentals are based on that, creating and providing that environment. And it's clearly reflected even in the way we recruit our carers, the robust process of ensuring that all checks are done, and also the training that is given to our staff, also to our carers, to ensure that we are able to to enable young children to thrive and to fulfill or to realize their potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And growing up in a family, a foster family, a Banya foster family, I can definitely attest and say that these are absolutely fulfilled. Like, I was always encouraged and supported with my education. I was always listened to. I always had, if I had an issue, I would just speak to them, and then it would be spoken about and it would be resolved. If I like the care that my foster parents had, absolutely excellent training, and like I would say that I have reached a very, very high standard. He reached my potential. Working with Banya, working for Banya now. I even so, I try into our recruitment. I can attest to say that we want to advocate and we promote our children's rights, and we want to protect them.
You're right. I was just thinking, I don't know what you think about heavens about. Obviously, aside from what we, because it's International Students Day on Friday, and everyone can be involved. And I think we've got examples of how other people have actually stood out to be a voice for children. I want to you want to touch on that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. For me, this is a very, very exciting time, a very exciting opportunity for people to get involved in working with children. You know, to be honest, children and young people are the same all over the world. Sometimes we tend to look at them through the lenses of TV or what we see on TV, maybe happening in different countries, and we tend to classify, say, oh, maybe these kids are much more better off, or these ones are much more, worse off. But then when it comes down to the needs of children, they are the same. And in the UK, for example, we have up to 4 million children coming from low income homes. And of that 4 million, you've got close to 3 million children actually living in very, very poor conditions. So it shows you that the needs of children and the plight of children is the same everywhere in the world. And therefore, there's a massive need for people to actually stand in the gap and see the need and be able to advocate for the needs of children. So for me, the key word really is advocacy. We have to be able to have the people who are able to speak up, for example. So make some noise. You may be somebody who is in a place of authority, or if you're an influencer. These days we are in the age of influencers. This is an opportunity to say something on your page about children, share something on your whatever networks, talk about the needs of children, speak up, use your voice, be like Rashford, the footballer, who was actually able to speak out for the needs of children, especially when we went into the lockdown. He was able to speak up, and his voice was heard. Look at Jamie Oliver, the chef, who actually was advocating for healthier school meals for children, and he managed to actually turn the tide. So in your capacity, in your world, in your sphere of influence, you can actually speak up for the needs of children. So advocacy also means that you are standing up for the rights of children. You are standing up against injustice, standing up against discrimination, standing up, whenever you see it, wherever you see it, you stand up for it. And it also means you must also give. Sometimes you may not be able to stand up or speak up, but maybe you're able to part with some money and to support some of the initiatives, some of the great initiatives that are happening around. So you can give your time, you can give your money, and then obviously for us, Banya, you can give your house. You can, give us your house. Say, hey, I've got space, I've got a room, I've got time. I want to look after a child, and this is certainly the best time, the best way, one of the best ways that you can actually really be that present advocate for the child. So, like what Tom was talking about, that advocacy also is about giving access. You are giving access to allowing the child to get access to the things that they really need. We're talking about education. We're talking about services, key services that they need. We're talking about access to health, medical care, all those things, food, shelter. So an advocate is what we need, and you, in your capacity, can be an advocate. And more so, what a brilliant time, a brilliant opportunity for you to actually be a foster carer, and you can become one of those unforgettable advocates for a young person.
And it's not just advocacy as much. It's like you said, Rashford, he advocated for the children, and he promoted the almost injustice for these children that weren't able to access free school meals. And that it wasn't just himself doing it alone. He inspired so many other people to advocate to this problem and help this problem, because although he is in a position where he can help, he can't do it all himself. And there's been so many prime examples of communities just coming together to provide like the food for these free school meals, the income, the money for these free school meals, and it's just that inspiration as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's an article that you posted on our Facebook, Tom. I mean, from the Guardian. What was he saying, by the way? Just
yes, I did. I posted that on on behalf of Banya, and it was about the effect of COVID and the lockdown on lower income families and people and family, and especially on the children, because there was research done from the first lockdown in the UK that happened, that it suggested, it was from 5 different universities, and it looked at many different households and many different children, and it noticed that children from lower income had less access to books, less access to educational resources, less access to outdoor spaces. I mean, even though we were in a lockdown, and we are in a lockdown now, these people from lower income families had a negative impact on their education. And but at the same time, it was almost for their own protection. It was for their own protection at the same time. So sometimes these people in power, there is, whether it's directly or indirectly, they have a cause and effect. Their decisions have a cause and effect, and the consequences on a child's rights and a child's life.
Certainly, this situation has really affected. I think we may not even be able to actually understand the magnitude of the impact that COVID has had, and it's important. I'm realizing that. I mean, being in a position of decision making is really something that we should not be taken for granted, because the rights of children can be, or of anyone, can be actually infringed by indirectly or directly by decisions made by other people. And sometimes when you're not on the ground to see what exactly, what is the impact or the effect of the decision being made, it's difficult. That's why we then even need advocates. Rashford, the example you gave, is because he lived that life. I know of this other guy as well, is Ashley Batista, who was raised in care. But also I know right now, I think he's doing some programs with the BBC or so. And also he speaks to enlighten people about really the plight, the life in care, and for people to actually be aware of what really goes on in there. I was watching one of his videos, and he was saying, for example, every move, whenever he would move from one placement to another, he would he would always think, he said, for some reason I would prepare myself for rejection, that I would always move. So the plight of children, what children are going, or families are going through, is in particular during this pandemic. Actually, maybe we'll get to know exactly the impact 2 years later when people give us research on what exactly has been the magnitude of the impact of children's rights. I want to ask you in terms of because it's one in about how do you think what do you think should be done to ensure that children's voices or a child's voice is heard, just in general?
I mean, it's like, personally, I would say that growing up, there were many things that I needed to say, and there were many things that I questioned, and my opinion was always taken into consideration. And I think that the best way to advocate and promote this is to just like listen to the children, like they explain talk to them, explain what's going on, listen to their opinions, listen to their points of view, listen, just listen to them, and then share that opinion with other people, and spread awareness of these children's plights. For example, like someone from a lower income, from one background, will have a completely different situation, like opinion, than someone from a wealthier background, for example, from a different household. And if they both can understand, if both households could like understand each other, then at that point they can help each other.
Yeah, and I can see we've got quite a few people watching us online as well.
Oh, that's good.
Mr. Modera is watching with us. Some fantastic comments from Rosa Booth. She says, "Love this. Stand up and stand in the gap." And Fran says, "Great stuff, guys. Thank you for watching, Fran." Rosa says again, if they can just trust you to listen to the little things, they would trust you in the big things. What a fantastic point. So yeah, so listening, if the kids can trust you in the small things, then they would trust you with the big things. So kids would test you with small things, and then if they can trust you with that, then they would trust you with the big things. What an awesome point. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so we're really enjoying this discussion. I like what Tom was just talking about, listening. I don't think it gets any better than that, listening. But also, when you have listened, I think kids, children, especially young people, you need to be able to do what is necessary, what needs to be done. It's not enough to just listen, but you actually need to act on what you're listening. You need to share information with people that need to know important information. And you also need to actually move and make decisions that are in the interest of the child. Because if we don't actually act and we don't process the information that we're getting, and we don't bring about or move in a way that brings about the change that is needed, then we're actually not doing the child any service. So I think, on top of listening, I think action is very, very important.
That old saying, "Actions speak louder than words," really comes to mind here. Like, you have to listen to the child, but you have to act on what they are saying, and you have to show them that you are acting on what they are saying.
I was just thinking about the founder of Banya Chat, and I think you've heard about Banya Trust. Is the charity that supports children. I saw something on their Instagram this morning about a testimonial about this young man in Zimbabwe whom they sent to school. You never know. It's like you can never discriminate children to say, "I'll support this one and not that one." Every opportunity that you have, to actually support children and stand for them in one way or the other. I like what Heaven said, to say, you may not say, oh, I can't, no, it's not only speaking, but some people have the money, they speak through their money. Some people volunteer to physically be in a place where there is need for some people to be there physically to support children. And some people, will say, okay, I can talk, I mean, I can stand, I can write, I can speak, I can draw, I can do anything. So, if you're there, if you check it out, maybe you can go online. If you can go on our Facebook timeline, so just post the link for Banya Trust. You never know, somebody might want to say, oh, I want to do something for children. Go ahead, because it's a farm in Ellsbury. And then at the farm, there are animals, there are different things. Actually, children can actually go there for what you call, is it kind of therapeutic kind of programs where it helps children, all kind of children. I mean, so they're doing a lot of things, not only here in the UK, but also abroad to support children. So it's a good time, not only on the day of celebrating the National Day, but it's a good time to start to say, okay, I'm going to commit myself to actually do something here. I don't have a space to be a foster carer, but you can do something. Let's all be involved, because we can. There's enough space. There's more need. We need more people to be involved in actually promoting, in celebrating, and advocating for children's rights.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think that could have been said better. That's what we need to do, is take care and listen to our children and promote children's rights. And that's what International Children's Day is all about. Thank you both so much for this discussion. It's been enlightening and encouraging, and hopefully inspiring to some people, to get them to advocate for children's rights and listen to their children and help children. And it's not, like Receiver said, it's not just a one-day thing. It's all the time. You always have to do it all year round, because there are always children in need. So,
thanks for having us, Tom.
Yep, thank you for being here. It's been lovely talking with you both.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time.
Yes, next time will be next time. Yes,
all
Tuesday.
Right. Nice one.